Have you ever wondered what the world would look like if the Roman Empire never fell? What if those ancient legions, those grand aqueducts, and that sprawling network of roads had continued to expand and evolve for another 1,000 years? Forget everything you learned in history class. For the next 10 minutes, we're diving into an alternate timeline. A world where Rome's eagle never faltered. This isn't just a history lesson. It's a journey into a world that could have been. Let's start with the big picture. One of the main reasons Rome collapsed was its sheer size. It became too vast to govern effectively, leading to internal divisions and constant external pressure. But what if a series of brilliant emperors had managed to reform the system? Imagine a more decentralized Roman Commonwealth, with regional capitals in places like Alexandria, Londinium, and Constantinople, all unified under a single overarching Roman identity. This wouldn't be a brutal top-down empire, but a more flexible federation. Latin would likely be the universal language of law, science, and commerce, much like English is today, but local languages and cultures would thrive within this Roman framework. Your ancestors in Gaul or Britannia might have spoken a Latin-infused Celtic dialect, while those in Egypt would blend Coptic with the language of the Forum. Now, let's talk about technology and science. The Romans were incredible engineers, but their scientific progress was relatively slow compared to later eras. This was partly due to their reliance on slave labor, which reduced the incentive for labor-saving inventions. In a surviving Roman Empire, the abolition of slavery perhaps, driven by a new philosophical or religious movement, would have been the catalyst for an industrial revolution, but it would be a Roman-style industrial revolution instead of coal-powered steam engines. Maybe they would have perfected geothermal power, harnessing volcanoes like Vesuvius and Etna. Imagine Roman engineers, heirs to Archimedes, and developing advanced clockwork mechanisms, sophisticated optics, and maybe even early forms of analytical engines, mechanical computers, dozens of years ahead of our timeline. Science would not have been lost and rediscovered. The works of Ptolemy, Galen, and other great thinkers would have been continuously built upon, not forgotten in dusty monastery libraries. We might have seen Roman explorers mapping the Americas by the 8th century, not in search of gold, but to establish new provinces and build new cities in the name of the Senate and people of Rome. What about religion? The rise of Christianity was a defining feature of the late Roman Empire. In our timeline, the fall of the Western Empire gave the Church of Rome a power vacuum to fill. But in a world where the emperor still reigned supreme, the relationship between church and state would be vastly different. Perhaps Christianity would have remained one of many faiths under the traditional Roman policy of religious syncretism. You might see a Roman pantheon that includes not only Jupiter and Mars, but also figures like Mithras, Isis, and even a version of the Christian god, all coexisting. Or maybe a different form of Christianity would have become the state's religion, one more integrated with imperial authority, where the emperor is not just a protector of the faith, but its designated head, similar to the Byzantine model. This would have profoundly changed the course of global religion, possibly preventing the major schisms and religious wars that defined our own history. Daily life would be almost unrecognizable. Imagine cities built on a Roman grid, but with gleaming towers of concrete and steel that dwarfed the Colosseum. Public transport might consist of silent, efficient maglev trains running along the paths of ancient Roman roads. Citizenship, that prized possession, would be a global concept. People from every corner of the earth could be Roman citizens, sharing a common legal and cultural heritage. The rule of law, the concept of a republic, and the importance of civic duty would be ingrained in global culture. We would have a unified legal system based on Roman law, meaning fewer international disputes and a more streamlined global order. Downside, this world might be less diverse in its political thought. Concepts like modern democracy, socialism, or libertarianism might never have developed in the same way, overshadowed by centuries of Roman republican ideals. The world would be more orderly, perhaps, but also more monolithic. Militarily, the Roman legions would have evolved. Forget swords and shields. Picture disciplined cohorts armed with advanced gunpowder weapons, supported by armored vehicles, and commanded from strategic centers that make the Pentagon look quaint. The Pax Romana de Roma peace would extend across the globe. There would be no World War I or II, because there would be no competing national empires to clash. There would only be Rome. Conflicts would be internal rebellions or police actions on the frontiers of civilized space, not cataclysmic wars between superpowers. They might even have taken to the stars. A civilization with 2,000 extra years of uninterrupted scientific development. A Roman space program would be a certainty. Imagine the first man on the moon planting not an American flag, but a Roman eagle standard, declaring the moon as the newest province of a timeless empire. But would this world be a utopia? Not necessarily. An empire that never falls is also an empire that never has to fundamentally question itself. Social progress might stagnate while technology would advance. Civil rights and individual freedoms might lag behind what we know today. The Roman focus on order and the state over the individual could create a society that is stable and prosperous, but also rigid and conformist. The creative chaos that fueled a Renaissance and Enlightenment might never have occurred. We might have gained a unified world, but lost the vibrant tapestry of independent cultures and ideas that shaped our own modern identity. The fall of Rome, in a way, was a creative destruction that allowed new civilizations and new ways of thinking to emerge from its ruins. So, a world where Rome never fell would be a world of magnificent achievements, of global unity and unparalleled technological prowess. But it might also be a world with less freedom, less cultural diversity, and a different understanding of what it means to be human. It's a fascinating trade-off to consider. The shadow of the eagle would stretch over the entire planet, for better and for worse. What do you think? Would a surviving Roman Empire have created a better world, or a more oppressive one? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I read every single one, and if you enjoyed this journey into an alternate past, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more what if scenarios, and share this video with a friend who loves history. Thanks for watching.
If you love uncovering the truth, don't forget to subscribe. More hidden history is coming every week, only on History Uncovered.